So I thank you for being here today and thank you for participating. Muchas gracias, no voy a traducir, pero quiero darles las gracias a todos por asistir esta noche en una junta tan importante. Y de nuevo ahorita voy a entregar el micrófono a Mark Triplett, el Deputy Superintendent del Distrito. Transfer to Mark Triplett, Deputy Superintendent for Open Books.
Fremont, rise up!
Fremont, rise up!
We are students of Fremont High School, and we have something to say. The OUSD administration say that this is not a top-down process.
The OUSD administrators say that this is not a top-down process.
However, the reality is that none of the 5 schools requested an RFP process. The OUSD administrator picked this.
However, the reality is that none of the 5 schools requested an RFP process. The OUSD administrators picked this.
The OUSD administrators say that this is a transparent process that the community should have input into.
The OUSD administrators say that this is a transparent process that the community should have input into.
The reality is that we didn't know about this community engagement meeting until the last week before break. This is not a transparent process.
The reality is that we didn't know about this community engagement meeting until the last week before break. This is not a transparent process.
That's right. The OUSD administration say that they understand why there is a lack of trust and that they want us to trust their leadership this time.
The OUSD administrators say that they understand why there's a lack of trust and that they want us to trust their leadership this time.
The reality is that the changes they're proposing will further destabilize our schools. First, they froze up to small schools. That's supposed to change everything. Then they put us back together as a whole school. That's supposed to change everything. Now they're saying we need new administrators and that is supposed to change everything. This is the same process they've been doing. It hasn't worked and it won't work. This is why we don't trust you. It's not an emotional reaction, it's a logical conclusion. We want community-run meetings, real conversations that lead to our questions getting answered without a long, whole speech and not a single question answer or a single answer. We want to put a stop to the process of anyone being able to just come in and propose how our school should be ran. Our education is not a business or a gambling game. We want real information. You cannot expect to give us piece by piece and that's it. We want to know the real intentions in the process.
What we want to stop is the OUSD's plan, because OUSD administration is coming up with an intention. You're not really taking our views into consideration because the plan is already being started by you. You prove this through initiating the RFP on your own without our consent. You prove this by giving us information last minute. You prove this by giving us beautiful speeches about improving schools while not being honest about what's happened before or what you're really trying to do.
What we want to happen is that students and parents should get stipends to come and write their own plan. We want teachers to get paid time to participate in this planning process too. Fremont should make its own plan. This plan should not be in competition with any other plans. Improving schools should not be about business. It should be about community power. I'm sorry about the inconvenience, but thank you for listening to us.
So, muchas gracias a los alumnos, porque es muy importante que escuchamos las voces de nuestros jóvenes, porque esto es la razón que estamos aquí, ¿verdad? So I want to thank the young people for starting off the meeting, even though we did not expect it, because it's really important that we hear the voices of them. They are why we're here. So I'm going to just do a quick thing in Spanish and then I'll speak in English. So yo quiero introducirme. Yo soy Mark Triplett, Deputy Superintendente de las escuelas secundarias. Pero antes yo era el director de una escuela aquí en Fruitvale, se llama Urban Promise Academy, o UPA. Y después de 6 años, yo salí de allá y empezó a apoyar otras escuelas aquí en Fruitvale. Y estoy diciendo esto porque esto para mí, esta comunidad es importantísimo. Y yo siento que necesitamos apoyar a nuestros jóvenes aquí porque esto es el cargo de nosotros adultos. So I introduced myself. My name is Mark Triplett. I'm the Deputy Superintendent for high schools. Before that, I was the principal at Urban Promise Academy Public School, which is right down the street on East 18th. I was there for 6 years, and after that, I've been supporting schools here in the Fruitvale to continue to improve. I also have 2 daughters in the Oakland Unified School District myself. And I'm here because we need to do the very best for our young people. And I think we cannot be satisfied with anything less than the very best. So I want to acknowledge that I know that there's a lot of frustration, anger in this room right now. I know that there's a lot of people that feel distrust, that have experienced what they feel is lies from the school district. I know that there's also a lot of people in this room that may be confused about this process. And I know that there's some people in this room that are saying, what took you so long to invite transformation of the school? Tonight, what we're going to do is we have a process to hear from you. And we're going to explain, really, try to be very brief in an explanation about the process. And then the most of the time tonight, we really want for you to dialogue and to hear your questions, your concerns, and your ideas. So bear with me while I explain some of what we're here for, and then I want to introduce David Montes de Oca to talk about the call for quality schools, and then we're going to turn it over to you to dialogue about what we need to do here at Fremont. So one thing I heard, and I have heard before, is that the issue around trust. And so I want to be really clear. We are actually not asking you to trust us. There's been a lot of feelings of not trusting, of distrust, of broken promises, and because of that, I'm not asking you to trust us. What I'm asking you to do is participate. Because if you don't participate in this process, and you're doing so tonight, which is fantastic, then we will not have the very best school here at Fremont. So thank you for your participation. I'm going to ask a couple people to review the goals of this meeting. You have some agendas on your tables, so please grab an agenda. The first person I'm going to ask to come up and read the first goal of the meeting is Chief of Schools, Alan Smith.
Gain a shared understanding of board policy, historical contents, and relevant background information.
Thank you. And the next goal, Superintendent for High Schools, Kevin Taylor.
Gain a shared understanding of the call for quality schools, purpose, and process.
Disculpa un momento. Yo no entiendo cómo quieres que participemos en tu proceso si no confiamos en ustedes. Por favor.
Said he doesn't know how we can participate if we don't trust. And so I can come and tell you what I believe we're going to do and what the intention is, but there's no way that I can force you to trust. Right? I have to show you trust. I have to earn your trust. And I understand that. So that's why we're asking for your participation. So I want to point out on the tables, you have some cards. The yellow card is cards for questions. The other cards we're going to use during discussion. But if at any time you have a question before we get to the question time period, then please write them down because we want to make sure that we get every question. So the agenda is going to be like this. Like I said, we're going to talk briefly, explain the process, and then give you a chance to talk. And the norms that I'd like to ask of us is three things, and they're written back there on a poster, but you might not be able to see it. Number one is one voice, one mic. And that is when one person is talking, that we honor that. The second one is to share the air. And that means that we need to make sure that everybody has a chance to speak. And particularly at tables, I want to make sure that people at tables include everybody at their table in the conversation. And then the last one is seek understanding. We're all trying to understand each other and learn about this process. So I want to answer a couple of things right up front and be really clear. Because I know there's some questions that have come up and there's some rumors. Number one, this process is not about school closure. We will continue to have students here at Fremont and serve students here at Fremont. Serve these students, not different students, but these students here at Fremont. Fremont is not closing. What is happening is, what we're proposing is school transformation. And we want to explain what that means. I see a question, but I want to encourage you to write the question down, and there will be a time where we're going to have the questions called out. I'm sorry, we're going to continue with the process because otherwise we're not going to have an effective meeting. We will answer questions, so please put it on the card. The second thing I want to talk about is the rumor about charter schools. So I know a lot of people think that this is a done deal with charter schools. That is not true. This is not a done deal with charters. What this is honestly, what is preferred is that there's a district school on this site. That is the preference. But more than that, what we need to make sure we are doing here is having the very best school here at Fremont. And so if we only limit ourselves to proposals from inside the district, then we are limiting the options. So if we can come up with a proposal from district people for Fremont, that's really the preference. Another question that I know has come up is around the construction, the facility. And I've heard people feel like there's a rumor that there will, that the building will never be rebuilt because that was promised and people feel like it hasn't happened.
In 25 years.
So what I want to tell you is that that project is happening. That Fremont, the facility, and I'm going to answer some questions. That project is happening, we're moving forward. And the reason it hasn't happened yet is because we need to make sure that any facility here is based not just on, is not about a building, but is about the academic program. The facility needs to match the very best state-of-the-art academic program that we can have. And so first, we need to identify an academic program, and then we need to build a building to match that program. On your tables, you have, hold on one second. On your tables, you have a timeline. This is a timeline around the construction project. And so I just want to point out a couple things. And one on the top, it talks about the call for quality schools. And that's happening right now, starting right now. In the yellow, the orange, is the information about the construction of the facility. And so you can see on there that right now, already what is happening is on-site testing for the facility. But we are not going to design a facility until we have designed a program. Because that wouldn't make for the very best school we could possibly have here at Fremont. That would match exactly the best way to serve kids. So, lastly, I want to appreciate the tremendous work that is happening here at Fremont already. I want to appreciate the incredible growth that has happened here. I want to appreciate the teachers and the leadership. And what I want to say is that we need to continue to do better here. We need an even better program. We need to grow this program because what I hear is that families want more for their kids. And I think that's what students want too, is more. And so the status quo is not acceptable. So I want to take one last moment before I turn it over to our Deputy Chief of Continuous Improvement to look at this paper. Because I know that in this room there is so much love for Fremont. Yeah, there is! If we love Fremont, we want Fremont to be the very, very best. That's what I want for the school. And so I want you to take a look for a minute at graduation rates. Because right now, 2012-13, 56% of students graduated. In 2012-13, 56% of students graduated. That's not okay. And that's on us. That's our responsibility as adults and as a community. We have to support kids to do better. And that's what we want to do. If you look at the average OUSD school, 77% of students are graduating. And honestly, here at Fremont, we could do even better than that. If you look down at the passing rate of the Casey. This past year, 29% of kids passed the Casey in 10th grade. In an average school, 48% passed. To me, that is not acceptable. And that is not blaming anyone, that is taking responsibility. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Montes de Oakland to explain about the process.
Good evening, buenas tardes. My name is David Montes de Oakland. I've been working at Oakland Unified for the last 18 years. I started my career across the hall from Mr. Sanchez at Calvin Simmons Middle School as a teacher. He and I taught together for many years. I had an opportunity to work together with the community to help start another middle school in Oakland, Urban Promise Academy, to help serve Oakland students. What we want to do is talk to you now tonight about this process, and in doing so, ideally, answer many of your questions. So what I want to start by sharing is this. The Board of Education last April made a decision that it wanted to move forward with implementing strategies for improving our highest need schools. The district has made attempts in the past to support schools to improve. Some of those attempts have been successful. A number of those attempts have been failures. I will tell you that in my belief, the work that has been done to support Fremont in its most recent transition, to provide support to Fremont in the most recent transition was not successful and effective because the district did not provide adequate support and resources to the school and did not ensure that the school had the kind of support that it would need for long-term success. Part of the goal of this process is that resources are being set aside. The Board of Education and the district superintendent have committed to ensuring that there is additional resources to ensure that Fremont High School has an opportunity to not only have an excellent plan, but to effectively implement that plan. What that means is that the board made a decision last April that when the new superintendent implements his plan, that plan needed to include consideration for all school types. That does not mean, however, that the superintendent or the Board of Education is not committed to a district-run program. The district is going to provide resources to teams that want to operate district-run schools. Establishing a committee at Fremont that is going to be able to evaluate proposals. That committee will include students, staff, parents, and community representatives. That the superintendent has no desire to move forward with a plan that the community does not support. The superintendent is committed to Fremont High School, and the superintendent has asked his staff. In this process, teams that form
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mr. Pryor. I'm an alumni of Fremont. Class of 1980. Listen up. I want everybody to listen very carefully. Please, listen very carefully. Okay? I want everybody to know tonight is a historical moment for Fremont. Fremont will be the same. It will not change. It is not going to be a charter. Okay? Listen, please. The only way that we will remain Fremont is we have to remain Fremont as a unit together. Hispanics, African Americans, Samoans, Tongans, Chinese, Korean, all Fremont Tigers. Okay? So listen, I want you guys to listen to this plan. This plan is not to close or change Fremont. It is to help the newcomers, the English learners that are here in California today. We are, listen. I'm trying to tell you this because, let me tell you something. Let me tell you my story. My mother came here in 1962 from Puerto Rico. Okay? Let me explain something to you. Let me explain. No, listen to me. Listen. All I'm trying to get you guys to see that things are going to stay the same. Nothing has changed. We are going to put a proposal together. We have to work together. All of us. That's why I work with this school and I'm part of the district. I represent District 5. Listen. You're going to get what you want. But listen to the proposal. Okay? This is all I'm asking. My son goes here. My sister went here. My brothers went here. I got 5 generations of family members that came out of Fremont. All I'm telling you is, please just listen. Fremont is not going to change. And that's my promise. Trust Mr. Pryor. Do that. Yes, trust Mr. Pryor. That's right. And then let's trust him to do what we need them to do. How about that? Can we do that? Come on now. We're going to get right back to farming, okay?
Fremont students, thank you. There's a lot of information that they want to share, and they understand that you have a lot of questions, you have a lot of insecurities. They've admitted that there's reason not to trust. That's what they've stated. So historically, that hasn't happened. But right now, they want to share information out, and they've asked that if we can have a student forum where the students get an opportunity to answer some questions, ask some questions, and be engaged in some dialogue. We're opening up the auditorium so that the students would go in there so like that they can take questions from the students. Sí, la junta The meeting will continue here. There's information that they want to share, and they understand, and the turnout was a little bigger than we all expected, and so we will continue. We will have 2 meetings going on concurrently, one to address the students' needs, the students' questions, insecurities as we move forward, and the meeting that was here for community and parent members and staff who are here. So the auditorium students, you guys know where our auditorium is. We've opened up the auditorium.
For a student forum, but some of us are prepared and we already have our questions. So
okay, I want to go ahead and give us an opportunity to move forward. What I hope I'm able to do, and those of us who are here this evening, is provide you answers to your questions. So the information I'm sharing takes into consideration many questions that we know that you have, and then we're going to have an opportunity through the activity that you'll do next to generate and provide back to us, or to provide the questions that you've already prepared so that we can respond. But part of this evening's intent is also to gather information from you, because it's going to inform the plan for Fremont. Because what we gather from you tonight is going to be part of the expectations that the district is going to hold for the plan that the superintendent recommends to the board that this community supports. So part of the time together tonight is that we're going to be asking you to do a brief activity that's going to give us that information in addition to answering your questions. What I want to share with you is there is a plan to provide money and resources this spring to ensure that the planning process is supported. Funds for translation, funds for child care, funds to support many of the adults who will participate in the process, ways for students to engage. We will be holding student-specific engagements here at Fremont, as well as continuing engagements for community and for staff. We'll provide dates for you this evening about upcoming engagement. For the coming school year, what will happen is that after proposals are reviewed by community and by district staff in collaboration with community, they'll go before the school board. Your school board representative, as well as others, will consider the recommendations and make decisions in June. Those decisions will go into a year-long planning process. There will be money set aside so that the proposal that moves forward here at Fremont throughout next year has support to be implemented by having a solid plan that parents and students and staff and community participate in for a year. That plan will then receive additional funding resources that will begin in 2016-17 and continue for several years. Why? Because we know that more funding is needed to support ensuring that all of our students with special needs, students who continue to learn English as a second language, foster youth, students who have many different needs at home need additional support that costs more money. In the past, the district has not provided those resources to meet those needs, and there is a commitment by this board and by the superintendent that they will not approve budgets, and it is in their policy that they will not approve budgets that do not include additional resources to ensure that you can have a plan that's implemented effectively. The criteria for those plans will be presented to the community in February. At the beginning of February, the expectations for the plans and the supports for the team or teams that develop those plans will be shared broadly. There will be support on a regular basis for both the planning and to make sure the community has a voice in evaluating those plans. We have learned that this part of that process is what helps ensure long-term success.
What's on the planning committee?
Just turn that way when you're doing something crazy. No? Just turn that way when you're doing something crazy. No, she did like her for
Okay, so I received information that suggests that there are still community that need to make sure that they receive translation, and we know that there's equipment out with the audience, but perhaps not sufficient for all members of the community. I'll do my best to continue to translate. Quiero decir al principio que decimos que necesitamos proveer a toda la comunidad que va a participar en el plan recursos, específicamente fondos, para planear y implementar los planes. El comité del distrito no va a aprobar un plan del superintendente que no va a recibir los fondos que necesita para implementarlo. It is the fact that the district does believe that the only way to have a solution is a solution that comes with and from community. What we have learned, however, is that we need to have and guide a process to ensure that that voice comes together in a way that is a plan we can implement, and this process is created so that there is an opportunity for teams to develop those plans and implement them. We know that the charter question and concern is significant. What I will tell you is that the board made a decision directing the superintendent to include consideration of charter schools as part of the process. That being said, this superintendent is only committed to plans that are supported by the community. With that being said, there's no intention to move forward with plans that the community is not supporting. So in this process, the call for proposals helps to establish the criteria that you will help to contribute to through the process this evening. What we would like to be able to do with you tonight is we would like to spend some of this time where you can be working together, those of you who have come together, to be able to provide information back to us, not only about the specific questions that you have, but also about what you believe needs to be included in any plan for Fremont. Necesitamos asegurar que esta noche ustedes tienen una oportunidad para trabajar juntos como una comunidad para proveer a nosotros información sobre lo que ustedes se sientan necesita ser parte de cualquier plan aceptado para Fremont. What we would like to make sure you do this evening then is we want to be able to turn the time over to you at your tables to give you the opportunity to work in groups and create a space so that those who are standing have a space in the auditorium where they can do that work together and come back together in this room. We can work together in this room to provide that information. So what we're going to ask you to do now is at your table. At this moment is at your tables are yellow and purple cards. We would like to ask you at this time to take this opportunity to discuss at your tables and to be able to write down your questions so that we can begin a use this time to gather the existing questions that you already have so that we can prepare ourselves to spend the bulk of this evening responding to your questions. So what we're going to ask that we do now is we want to be able to spend the next 15 minutes where we can provide you an opportunity at your tables and or for those of you standing to provide you with the cards you need to write down your questions. And then we're going to take some time together as a group to respond to those questions. At your tables there are yellow cards, purple cards, and there are markers and or pens. So for the next 15 minutes we're going to ask you to write your questions down. We're also going to collect those questions that have already been generated. And then in 15 minutes, we're going to begin to respond to those questions. So we're going to stay together in this room, and we'll go ahead and take this time now to ask you to write your questions. At this time, we'd like you to please take the next 15 minutes so that we can get in the process of generating those questions. And then we'll be going around and collect those questions. to Fremont High School and the Fremont community. And the superintendent has directed his staff to represent him this evening in responding to your questions and providing you information. What we're going to ask that we do is at least take a moment so that we can collect your questions so that we can begin a process of responding to those questions. So what we'll do is we're going to take at least the next 5 minutes so we can collect your questions. We'll gather those questions and then we'll begin a process of responding.
Because this is the only way that we can get our questions on record. Please take the time to write down your questions. I know some of you already have them written up, and I'm sure Mr. Montes de Oca will collect them. Ahorita es la oportunidad de poner todas nuestras preguntas en récord, porque todo lo que está aquí lo van a anotar. Entonces tomen este tiempo, estos 5 minutos para apuntar sus preguntas.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Andrés de la Torre, soy el traductor del distrito. Lo único que les quiero decir, ahorita que se acabe la junta, si por favor este aparatito, los que tengan el aparatito, me lo dejan para allá en aquella mesa. No ahorita, cuando lo desocupen, ya cuando no lo ocupen, me lo llevan allá, por favor.
Buenas noches, compañeros, por favor, pido que me den un par de minutos nada más, no necesito más. Aquí el distrito nos está hablando y nos está diciendo que se va a hacer un nuevo proceso y todo, que se va a hacer dinero, que se va a entregar dinero para el 2016, pero esta promesa nos la están haciendo desde enero del 2014. Entonces lo que yo a ellos les preguntaría, y lo que yo quisiera que me expliquen, es qué garantía tenemos nosotros para empezar, que ahora sí nos van a empezar a soltar el dinero el año que viene. Ya corrió el 14, ya está corriendo el 15 y nos dicen que hasta el 16. Entonces, ¿cómo está eso? Ya nos dijeron, hay dinero. Desde la propuesta, cuando luchamos por la propuesta J, la 30, todo esto, había dinero. Y a partir del 2014 se iba a empezar el proyecto. No se hizo nada. ¿Dónde está el dinero? Hubo un proyecto que se hizo para la reconstrucción de Fremont. Estuvimos trabajando. Para los que no me conozcan, yo les fui Pares Nation voluntario por 2 años en esta escuela y por 1 año pagado, que esta es otra historia. Entonces les puedo hablar con certeza de las cosas que se manejaron aquí en la escuela. A mí no me lo contaron y sé cómo se han manejado. Sé que no hemos tenido un apoyo directo de la administración como padres y tampoco tuvimos un apoyo directo, menos del distrito. Los representantes de la mesa directiva no se toman el tiempo para hablar con los padres. Ustedes realmente no se toman el tiempo para tomar la opinión de nosotros realmente. Hacen estos mítines donde todos agarramos y entregamos una hojita, donde nosotros esperan que nosotros les hagamos la tarea. Nomás dígame, ¿con qué certeza me puede mirar usted a los ojos y asegurarme que en el 2016 va a empezar a fluir el dinero? Esa promesa la tenemos desde el 2014.
And thank you. And I'm going to answer that question, and we're going to transition. I would also like to invite Carmen, who could join us so that we can take specifically questions that have been generated by students who've worked together. So if Carmen is here, you can join us. Let me answer the gentleman's question. So the question was whether or not there is still a commitment of the district to ensure that the support for the Fremont facility project. I just want to finish answering the gentleman's question. The district is absolutely committed to ensuring that we move forward with a facility project at Fremont. There is no expectation that we will not move forward with a facility project at Fremont. We want to take a moment now, provide an opportunity for some questions that have been generated by the youth to be asked. We'll do our best to respond to as many questions as we can before we transition and at least discuss what we believe will be next steps. As short as possible, but as clear as possible. What we're going to ask is that we're going to take at least the first 10 questions that you have generated here, and then we want to be able to provide an opportunity for questions that have been presented by others here in the community to also be responded to. We'll do this for the next 30 minutes, and then we'll provide information about what we believe will be the next steps to support this process at Fremont.
Welcome everybody. My name is Dennis Urache and I'm a junior here at Fremont. Let's give it up for Fremont. Come on! Alright, so my first question to y'all will be, we are already working as a community to improve. I'm sorry, can I get one mic please?
Great.
So my first question is, we are already working as a community to improve our own schools, such as through classroom observations by the community to help improve culture and teaching in classrooms. If we transition, all of the hard work we built into individuals is threatened. We know that if leadership comes in, there is no guarantee of security for the previous staff. How is it supporting our community to develop staff that are in touch with our community? How will bringing in outsiders make any significant difference? How can we feel safe in a community when outsiders come in and threaten to destroy the work we have built?
So what we want to do is this. What we're hearing is that there is significant work that is already taking place with student, staff, and community to develop a plan to support improving outcomes for students. And the question is about how new leadership can guarantee security of previous staff, and how we're bringing outsiders in make a difference, and how can we feel safe in a community when outsiders come in and destroy the work that's built. What goes forward for Fremont does not need to come from outsiders. This is an opportunity to do, and the best that I can do, and I apologize, I know there's some ringing in the mic. The best that I can do is provide you our answer, and then trust that you have an opportunity then to understand what we're responding with. This process will allow the planning that is already happening at Fremont to now be considered and invested in by this organization and the district through this process. There's no reason why the work that is currently happening cannot become the plan that is invested in to support Fremont and its future. So there's absolutely a commitment to supporting the current planning that's happening so that it can become a part of this process and make sure that it's fully considered by all members of the community so that the superintendent and the board can make its commitment to invest in that plan.
So we're going to go on to the second question by Wendy.
We know that other schools have already gotten support team as evidence by where is the support for the team of Fremont?
So the question is that other teams have received support, and where is the support for Fremont? So it's not exactly clear what specific support other teams may have received, and at this time there are no teams that have been formed that have identified themselves to the district leadership. But what I can tell you is that there will be support for a Fremont team that puts together a proposal. That support, as we begin the process at the start of February, is going to include support for planning time, support for planning and the proposal writing, support for translation, child care, support for opportunities for community and the members of the team to get information about how to write an effective plan. That support will be provided to a team coming out of Fremont High School.
We're going to ask our third question. Sorry. One mic, please. Okay, there are programs in place that work with the
The question is specific. So this question is specific to the newcomer programs that are supporting students here at Fremont. There's no question that any plan moving forward at Fremont must provide a high-quality option for newcomer students. And if the program that is happening today at Fremont is the program that's providing the highest quality support, then we would expect any proposal that gets put forward by a team here at Fremont to include that program in its proposal. We would also expect that when we state the requirements for the proposal, we will state that the requirements must include high-quality support for newcomer students to make sure that no plan going forward doesn't include high-quality program support for newcomers, which very well may include the exact program that's being offered here today.
Curtis will ask our fourth question.
We are already working as a community to improve our own school system. The bill was brought to the public invited for winter break. How is their transparency? How is their public processes if we did not have the opportunity to come together as a school community and discuss the issues?
The question is about the plan rolled out to the public the Friday before winter break. How is that transparency, and how is there a public process that we have the opportunity to come together as a school community? The question that was provided is, can you repeat the structure of the design team? The structure of the design teams. So there are teams.
Hey, you guys, can I please have you to be quiet, because I feel like this question. This is a question that everyone needs to hear and get the answer to, because there is a follow-up if it's not what we need. So you guys need to be respectful to them, just like we want them to be respectful to us. Okay? And when we teach you guys leadership class, is one mic. So we are going to be respectful and tasteful and show them that we have class. We're going to go down with the fight, but we're going to do this class. I am a Fremont alumni, class 2006. With that being said, we're going to allow them to answer the questions we ask. Get the answer. My young man in the back. My young man in the back. My young men. I'm calling you young men, not boys. My young men. We are raising you to be young men. I need you to be respectful.
So the question is about the design team structure. There are two phases in this process with respect to the teams. There is a team that will submit a proposal this spring. There will also then be a team that goes through the year-long incubation process. The teams that submit proposals this spring, the proposal writing teams, must include participation from parents, community members, and partner organizations in the Fremont community and students. The design teams during the year of incubation that are going to be planning the implementation must include, as members of that design team during incubation, students, parents, partner and community representative organizations, and staff that are in the school community who are able to provide support to those teams. And I use the term staff interchangeably because we have educators in our community that come in many forms and positions, so we absolutely include teachers when we say staff, but we're also appreciating the need for participation from staff throughout our school communities, which may include our after-school support staff, staff that support students throughout the school day that may not necessarily be classroom teachers. So when we say staff, we absolutely are including teachers. And then with respect to...
What about the principal? What about our principal? Yeah.
Right. So in every scenario, each of the proposal writing teams are going to have identified leadership who are going to be supporting those teams. And that's going to come from the formation of those teams. A question I was just asked is, how will those teams be supported? We are going to be providing support to the teams that are proposing district-run schools, and the team coming out of Fremont High School will receive support in their planning, and they will receive support in writing their proposals to make sure that the teams are able to put together high-quality proposals, including the plans that you have already created.
You ignored our question! Put Sanchez on the planning committee! Did Sanchez beat it? Is he or not? Did Sanchez be the committee?
Okay.
That's all sorry.
What if it changes into a charter school? What happens to the custodian? So, while there is not a plan or expectation that Fremont High School will be operated by a charter school,
Take the charter out.
the Oakland Unified School District ensures in its policies that the custodial services that are provided in its buildings are provided by the Oakland Unified School District.
We need a question.
If it becomes a charter, what will happen to the money Fremont got from Measure N and J? So, first, again, there's no plan or intention to specifically turn Fremont High School into a charter school. That being said, Measure N is available to all district-operated schools and district-authorized charter schools. Students at Fremont.
How about Measure
If I can just answer the question. Measure N is available and will resource students at this campus, regardless of whether it is a district-run school or a district-authorized charter school. The additional question is, the Fremont facility is going to go through a facility project no matter what to serve the Fremont community and the Fremont students and families. Regardless of whether the school is district-run or run by a charter operator, it will continue to receive the improvements using Measure J funds. And even though the facility will continue to receive improvements with Measure J funds, and that any students attending the school would continue to receive support from Measure N funding, it is not, therefore, nonetheless, the intention of the district to necessarily turn Fremont High School into a charter school. But those are the responses to those two questions.
What about principal? Your question.
students. That needs to be a part of the plan. Every time there's a description of what the school is doing that is helping students, it is our goal and expectation that any plan needs to include that. Questions about the leadership. We just want to be clear. Proposals are going to come forward from teams within each school community. Decisions that are made about who participates in those teams are going to be decisions that are made by individuals. Whether or not they're employees of the district, or whether or not those are individuals who are not employees of the district, those are decisions that individuals are going to make about their participation in those teams. The proposals, when they get submitted, will go through an incubation process. It may not always be the case that those participating in the proposal development will continue with the proposal design process unless they choose to. We ideally hope that they will, because that's been the most successful process. I'm going to go ahead and take the next 5 questions, given our time, and then we're going to talk about our next steps. So, the question is really, why do you try to keep it a secret, but it's not coupled with another question. So, I'll acknowledge that the answer to the question that we have. If you really cared and wanted the best for Fremont, why haven't I seen you before in the community trying to help us? So, I absolutely want to appreciate and acknowledge that question. And I think there's probably 2 answers. One answer is a question about myself as an individual, and then one might be about the many of us who are here this evening who work with the district who are providing support. I will just tell you, I have worked in the Blue Belt community for 2 decades. I can give you a variety of addresses on Coolidge and Cortland that I've lived in this community. I've taught in the Fremont community. I've been a principal in the Fremont community. And the work that we do to support our leaders and support our educators is part of the work that I've been personally involved with. In terms of the other leadership that is here, there are many individuals who provide support to the Fremont community. Many do that here on campus, and many do that in other places where they provide support to staff and leadership here at this school. That being said, what I will say is, to the extent you have not seen us as much as you would like in the past, so I would just say, part of my role is that I'm part of a team that is helping to facilitate this process. So this is the start of an opportunity in this process for us to engage together, which means that you will see myself and others much more frequently, because part of our responsibility is to provide support for you in this process. This is the start of this process. My role is to help facilitate this process. So I'm here now because that is part of my responsibility, to participate in this process.
graduated in 1975. What I'm hearing is that's not really about the children. It's about your budget. And you get your budget in graduation rates. And so what I'm hearing, this process is going to weed out the children that don't think what you feel.
I'm an alumni, and I support Tiger! It's sad. You are not the problem. You're not. You're an incredibly bright student. You cut right through it. You graduated. Let me tell you something. Let me have it quiet, please. Fremont used to be one of the best schools in the city of Oakland. I got an incredible education. As a result of having graduated from Fremont, I have been able to travel all over the world. There's no reason that you should be able to do the same. And we will stand behind you. I will organize all the alumni that have graduated from here to back you up. Corrected. And we have the school board members here that are also, we'll be also talking to them, but these students deserve better. They are not the problem. They are not the problem. And I tell you, when we were here and we led the civil rights movement, which school led it? Fremont High School! So we will support you. You can't have a school that have gone up and down, and they come back and say 60% of the students don't graduate, 20%, it's not their fault, it's the system that's going to tell us. We are part of the community. I represent the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and we are going to get behind our students to make sure that they get the right treatment. And believe me, this will not become a charter school. I guarantee you that.
And I want to see that one day I'll come back to Fremont and say I'm the alumni from here. Just like he was. I want to go to somebody and say I went to Fremont High School. And that's not questioning it is Fremont High School.
I want to thank everybody for being here again one more time. I expected more than we were here. And again, the call earlier, I want to thank you for your support. One thing we do want to move forward, to answer the question, they did agree to a 4 o'clock meeting with the students on Friday of next week. There will be another one for the parent and community, given that there are items on the agenda that we wanted to go over as a district has to go over, and we haven't had that opportunity. But they heard the voice. They do want to meet with the students. From there, there'll be a student advisory committee, and then they also want to meet with parent and community on a separate meeting because it seems like we have several things going on. From there, we're hoping to get an advisory committee from the parent community and the students. So to answer your question, yes, Mr. Smith and Mr. Taylor just committed to meet with students 4 o'clock next week. It won't. He just said it. So, okay.
We're going to need a transition because we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to provide you then the information about what are the next steps. But we want to make sure that you're able to do this. I'm going to provide the information. I want to be able to at least allow that if we adjourn, we can stay as staff and continue to answer questions, but make sure that everybody has at least the next step information. As was stated a moment ago, we will have a convening with you next Friday at 4 o'clock. That will go out in writing tomorrow so the students know the date and time of that engagement. We will have engagement on January 26th to provide opportunity for community to not only continue to get information information that you're asking for, but to be able to ensure that in participating in this process, you are able to ensure that Fremont High School is the school that provides the highest quality plan to support students in this community, and that we can support that plan. What we're going to have an opportunity to do is make sure that all of the information that was provided this evening is provided broadly to the entire school community that may not have been here tonight. We're going to make sure that there's an opportunity to work with the school leadership so that the agenda of the engagement with students next Friday and the agenda for community on the 26th is co-constructed, so the representatives of the community and representatives of students participate in developing those agendas to make sure that you're able to continue to get your voice heard. What we want to be able to do is this evening, at your tables, there are several other colored cards. We would be remiss to end this evening and not explain how we intend to use those cards so that you can still take advantage of that this evening before leaving. On the table, there are green cards, red cards, and blue cards. There are signs in the room. What these cards are intended to do is provide you an opportunity to describe to us so that we can include in the criteria for the Fremont proposal what kinds of things need to start happening in our Fremont school, supported by the district, supported by the community, to ensure that students can be successful. That is the green cards. What needs to start happening to support students on the green index? The red index cards are what are those things that need to stop happening, that are inhibiting our students or not allowing our students to be successful and be prepared. What needs to stop happening is what we want to be able to place on the red cards. And what is already working for our students? On the blue cards, what do we want to continue? Which we heard in both questions and statements. There are many things that we expect to continue. On the red cards, what needs to stop happening? On the green cards, what needs to start happening? And on the blue cards, what needs to continue in order to ensure our students will be successful? We are going to collect all of those cards this evening, as well as provide opportunities for this and other activities when we come back together, because we are going to use that information so that Fremont's proposal requirements include what you share with us needs to start, stop, and continue. This is a very real way for you to contribute to ensuring that a plan for Fremont serves the Fremont community. So please this evening, take some time with the green, red, and blue cards to provide information, and we will be available to collect those both at the doors and here in front so that we make sure we get those this evening. All of that will be shared back publicly to the school community, and it will be included as part of the criteria for the Fremont school plan. Next steps, engagement with students on Friday at 4 p.m. next week, engagement with the community on the 26th. Flyers and information will be going home beginning tomorrow. This evening we're asking for you to provide to us your information and input through the green, red, and blue cards. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to provide an opportunity for 3 individuals, and then we're going to close out the meeting, to present questions. We're also going to be collecting all of the remaining yellow and purple cards. We're going to be writing and providing back all of the questions that have been asked, as well as responses to those questions when we meet again on January 26th. After this, we're going to go ahead and appreciate your participation this evening. We're going to adjourn the meeting, and then we're going to ideally ensure that you have some time to complete these cards before you leave, and then we'll look forward to our engagement when we return in the next week.
It's the principal part of the planning process or not? Answer it.
why you ain't telling no other schools about this? I go to Ohio, I didn't know this was happening. Luckily, I had my person over there to tell me, so I can't show my support because I don't think it's fair.
I want to know how come Alan Smith isn't up here answering any questions and he's head of school.
Necesito de la manera más atenta que por favor le dé un mensaje al superintendente que para la próxima junta él tiene que estar presente, que hoy fue una falta de respeto a la comunidad de Fremont. No vino. Si les interesa tanto dónde están estas personas, ¿cómo podemos confiar si no están presentes?
I want to acknowledge the student concerned about whether or not other students in other high schools received the information. And while a letter did go out broadly by the superintendent explaining that there would start a process of engagement, we are going to continue to provide information. We will work to make sure that organizations and leadership within our schools has information so that across the district, whether you're attending Fremont High School or other schools, there are answers to those questions. So we're going to provide that information to all principals in the district and other staff who can make sure that students know in other schools what's taking place in this process.
I have another question. Why can't we, Fremont, keep the cards that we're writing, and in the next meeting we will show them up, so we as a team, we as Fremont, as a family, could tell you how we feel, what we want to stop, to continue, and to start. Why can't we keep them instead of you?
Hello, I'm Victoria's Woods Mom, and I'm here to let you guys know that I am going to go back to the community and let everyone know what's going on here at Fremont. No one knows that this is even going on. And we're going to pass this around, and the next meeting is going to be more of us. Believe that.
I'm going to allow Superintendent Sanchez to go ahead and close out this evening. Yes! We do want to Superintendent Sanchez! And I want to also extend a significant appreciation to the staff who engaged with us this afternoon. I want to deeply appreciate our students who are showing extraordinary leadership, and appreciation to our parents who care deeply about the future of their children. And we do want to deeply appreciate Mr. Sanchez for all the support that he's been providing to students here at the school. And with that, I'll invite Mr. Sanchez to allow us to adjourn this evening, and then we'll transition and give you an opportunity to record your information. For students who want to take cards with you and bring them back at our next engagement, we would encourage and welcome you to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm actually going to translate a little bit because we have a lot who don't have the translation. Brevemente sé que hay unos cuantos que no tuvieron acceso a traducción. Están pidiendo que escriban las tres cosas: lo que quieren que paren, que quieren que continúen, y lo que quieren que empiecen aquí en la escuela. Que son las tres cartas que están allá. Verde es para empezar, rojo es para parar y azul es continuar. Entonces, si tienen, escriban. So I want to thank everybody for showing up here. Agradecemos a todos por estar aquí. I also want you to know that if you have someone there at your table as a representative, collect the cards, or you can leave them on the table. Again, I want to thank you for attending this evening and supporting. Quiero agradecerles a todos y de nuevo, si tienen sus tarjetas con comentarios sobre qué es lo que la escuela debería de ser, continuar, empezar o dejar de hacer, por favor escriban sus comentarios y los dejan ahí y alguien va a pasar por él. Again, you can leave the cards on the table, and again, thank you, and we will be following up with more information in regards to our future committee meetings with